But if you want to talk about injuries,
Whose injury?
Joel is expected to miss, at best, a month or two.
Joel Embiid.
Will not be the MVP.
Will not be the MVP. So, all right, let's talk about that.
Charles also had a take.
Okay, so you tell me Charles' take, and then I'll tell you Draymond's take. Because
Charles' take on it was, it should have been 70. This should not be a hard thing for y'all to. This is like not a. Shouldn't even be on your mind to play 65 games minimum. He said it should be 70. Which, I mean, I don't really care. I mean, like I said, there's only 5 guys who won the MVP without playing 65 games in the history of the NBA.
So Charles thinks that the rule is good and that it shouldn't be a player's problem.
Yeah.
I don't like the rule at all. I don't like the rule at all. And here's the thing. If the 76ers go on a 20-game losing streak with Joel Embiid out, to me, that is not saying it should win it, not saying it should be give it to him, but that should be 100% proof on why he's a contender in the MVP race and should stay a contender in the MVP race. I'm not the biggest, obviously we have our concerns on how controlling the NBA bigs are in the MVP race nowadays. So,
but
it's not like I'm dying. It's not like I have some biased Joel Embiid take, but I think it goes for any player. If you miss 22 games and your team goes 60-22, how is that not like obvious proof on how valuable you are to this team?
But here's my thing. Say Joel misses 2 months and their team plays like shit. Should he get the benefit of being able to say, hey, I'm not playing, so we suck?
Yeah.
And that takes away from the guy who is playing the entire season, who's playing an 80-season game?
But here's the other thing.
Like, how many guys are saying that the Nuggets without Jokic are winning the finals? Nobody.
Well, yeah.
The Nuggets without Jokic suck absolute donkey dick.
Yeah. But if Jokic is putting up
crazy numbers, shouldn't be penalized for playing a full season.
No, I didn't say that it means more to play less and that all of a sudden helps.
But we know Joel's valuable to his team.
I don't think it should take you out of the conversation, and I don't think that it should be ignored. Like, I'm not saying, oh, look, Joel didn't play and they did bad, and Jokic played and he did good. Joel's narrative is more impactful. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it shouldn't eliminate him from the race. Because like Draymond said it forces players to play. If Joel Embiid wasn't worried about this MVP race thing, he might have sat out those couple of games. And say this rule wasn't a thing. He sits out a week or two, doesn't tear his meniscus or whatever he does, or needs meniscus surgery. Maybe he's still in the MVP conversation. But now this new rule is, and let's be real, they've already made these, back-to-back rules. They're forcing players to play in the regular season. Yeah. And I understand it when it's you're obviously okay to play. But if you are actually hurt and you cannot play, but you're still putting up ridiculous numbers when you are playing, you play 64 games, you play 66 games, I don't really think it changes.
Here's Mike. I think it's already like an unspoken rule.
What?
It was already like an unspoken, hey, you need 65 games to be the MVP. Like I said, there was 5 instances where someone played less.
See, but that's the thing.
The MVP usually plays 75 plus games.
But there's going to be instances.
All right, say there was an NFL player.
Okay.
Say Lamar gets hurt in, like he has in years past, gets hurt in week 12, week 11. But he's the best player up until then, and then the team shits the dick after that. He's not winning the MVP. Why? Because he couldn't stay healthy all fucking season. We take that away from NFL players, but NBA players are allowed to sit out games.
Yeah, but there's
I get it's once every week. I get that.
Way more basketball games being played.
I get that there's way more games, but you're playing a less dangerous sport.
doesn't matter though, bro. If you're 7 feet tall, your knees can
But also
tear.
the game's been. This isn't a new thing that it's 82 games. It's been played like this for 70 years,
Well,
and guys have played 80 games and won the MVP. But in the NFL, you can't miss games because being the MVP, being a valuable player, is being on your team. That's important.
sure, you say that now, but then there's going to be a year where somebody plays 64 games and
That will probably happen.
is the clear-cut MVP. No question about it. Should have,
Yes,
like, hands down as the MVP, and he doesn't get it because he played 64 games.
and that's a possibility. I don't know why it
You
has to
will be
be a.
bitching about it.
Probably not.
Yeah, you will.
I don't
If
know.
it's Luca or someone, you're
Yeah,
gonna be
unless it's
bitching
Luca.
about it. You're gonna be
Unless
bitching
it's
about
Luca.
it. You're gonna
Unless
be
it's someone
mad.
under 6'7".
Yeah, you're gonna be mad as
If
hell.
it's
You're gonna
someone
be
under
mad as
6'8",
shit.
I'll be bitching. But no, like I don't see why I don't get why it has to be a written rule. But it seems to just be the natural flow of things. Unless someone's playing 65 plus games, they're not making all NBA. They're not doing these things.
I don't think it should be a rule. I think it should be considered when you're considering who your
It
MVP
should be
is.
it should be the consider
But at the
like
end of the
what
day,
I think it is. I think health is a considered factor.
your biggest worry was getting more people to watch regular season basketball and getting your superstars to play more regular season basketball. You know, at the end of the day,
But here's the thing: you're making all your money in the
But
playoffs.
here's the thing. We're banking on him being fully healthy in the playoffs.
What if he's not ready playoff time?
That's what I'm
Now,
saying. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, we say, "Oh, players shouldn't care about individual awards." We know they do, and Adam Silver knows that they do, and he knows that Joel Embiid does, and he knows at the end of the day that because of this rule, this could lead to Joel not being ready for the playoffs, Philly getting swept in the first or second round, and then it's going to be a way bigger deal. That NBA rule is going to be a way bigger issue, but it's fine. I'll just
well,
I'll call it out now. I'm just saying it will be an issue soon. Don't worry, it'll be an issue.
what I'm starting to think is that the NBA honestly thinks that it's a better way of making money, as like in terms of keeping all their players on the court during the season rather than the last 4 or 5 weeks of the year.
But you just said they're getting all their money in the playoffs.
That was my thought.
I
But
agree,
now,
though. But I agree.
like, no, that's what I think.
I think
But
that
I'm starting
too.
to think that the NBA might think that they're going to make their money from not the playoffs. But
Do you
you
think
had
that though?
maybe, but you have guys like Kawhi who in 2019 sat out a shit ton of games, but was healthy all postseason
Bro,
and fucking went on a crazy postseason tear, but had no shot at winning a league MVP.
bro, the NFL was breaking so many records with viewers this year. The NBA was forcing players to play in games that did not matter
Yeah,
to anybody. You and
yeah,
I both know that nobody was worried about the NBA when the Ravens and the Chiefs were playing each other.
not a
Nobody
shot.
is worried about the NBA when we're talking about the Super Bowl. This rule,
The
can
fucking
we change it? Can we change it to like go ahead, what?
dude, the fucking women's basketball game, LSU versus fucking whoever, had more viewers than than a Lakers Celtics game or something a couple weeks ago, or a Celtics game a couple weeks ago.
See, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Like a fucking college basketball. The NFL is never getting beat by a college fucking basketball team
No.
ever.
But I'm saying the in season tournament, cool, great rule, great thing to put in. It's cool, it's whatever.
Yeah,
You're not adding or taking away from anything. You're not.
yeah. You're not fucking up your regular
But
season.
let's
It's
change
just
the rule. Let's do like you got to play a certain amount post All Star break, or you got to something. It's like
yeah.
you got to give a chance for these guys to rest if they actually need to rest.
Maybe put in a clause, but again, like a part of being the MVP is being there.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like at
Like
one day we're talking
because
about
there's a lot of guys in the league who don't have the luxury of being like, hey, I'm going to play 50 games this year because that's going to make me the best player. Now you got dudes who are out here playing 80 games who have to play in the games where they're hurt or where they're not fully rested.
But I don't think any of these guys are going into the season going, I'm going to try to play as no games and win MVP. Like they obviously want to play. These guys who are hooping, they want to play.
Sure. Then why is this an issue?
It's not an issue. It's an issue because he's not going to be considered at all because of an injury.
Yeah, because he got hurt, and I
Yeah,
think that's
but
fair. I think if Steph Curry in 2016 broke his or tore his fucking ankle with 20 games left, I don't think he should be the MVP.
If they go 0 and 20, I think he should
Well,
be.
you give it to the next guy who played all
If
80.
you don't think he should be MVP, fine. I don't think he should not be in the consideration at all.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but he's not going to win MVP missing.
Listen. If the NFL is going to let game managing quarterbacks be considered in MVP races, then players who get hurt and make the team look way worse when they're not on the court should be considered too. That's all I got to say.